Hey, who's this lady? How about her? Hey, Hillary, what's up? What's this? Clinton made student loans non-dischargeable. Which Clinton? I would assume Bill, Papa, not really Papa, there's no Papa Bill. Bill Clinton, because he was the president. Unfortunately, his lovely wife didn't make it. You know, what a shame. I think she was telling herself in that picture, na 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 na, na 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 na. 2012 election, or 2016 election, hey, goodbye. Thank your lucky stars. Donald Trump is in office. The two major acts that the Clintons did perpetrate, which have set in motion our greatest crises, were number one, they repealed the Glass-Steagall Act, allowing banks to go nuts and return to proprietary trading in the 1920s. I think he meant, what, not the late 1990s? What? Allowing banks to go nuts and return to the proprietary, okay, and return to what they did at the 1920s. At the direction of Robert Rubin of Goldman Sachs. Again, Robert Rubin, that was our Treasury Secretary. Goldman Sachs, of course. And two, they gave the banks, this is from Martin Armstrong, ArmstrongEconomics.com. And two, they gave the banks absolute dominion over students by removing their right to declare bankruptcy on what they owe the banksters. No other class of debt has such an exception. And Hillary pretends to care about the people? Come on. She and Bill have done more for the bankers than any Republican ever did, which includes both Bushes. Furthermore, any press that refuses to tell this truth is by no means free, but bought and paid for all the way. It was the Clinton administration that aided the bankers for on October the 7th, 1998, when President Clinton signed the Higher Education Amendments of 1998, the 1998 HEA, which provided federal funding for education loans at a reduced rate of interest. However, Clinton sneaked in the 1988 HEA two specific changes regarding the collection of student loans that is a brewing part of the sovereign debt crisis today, for students cannot discharge student loans in bankruptcy, and 65% cannot find a job in what they paid for. This has funded worthless education at outrageous prices, creating a welfare system for academics to propagate stuff like global warming, to screw us with even more taxes, which is funny, I just got done saying it. My last other video. I think the previous video than the last one. This has funded worthless education at outrageous prices, creating a welfare system for academics to propagate stuff like global warming, to screw us with even more taxes. And what was the scandal recently about the administrator, the college administration scandal, where they were taking in millions fraudulently? That I didn't even do a video on that one. I'm too busy. I don't have time for that one. You know, holy crap. So yeah, they're too busy dealing with crap like global warming to screw us with even more taxes. No, they're not taxes. Carbon credits paid for by our taxes. Yeah, okay. And then bankers can lend money to students and turn them into economic slaves for the rest of their lives. What's the student loan debt right now? I think this is very accurate. $1.4 trillion. It's right around 1.4 trillion. When I started talking about this stuff just a few years ago, it was creeping to 1. Didn't even make it to 1 yet. Then it got to 1. You mean to tell me just in a few short years, we've gone from $1 trillion to 1.4, nearly almost, that's 40%. And it's not getting paid down. That number's going higher. People can't pay it. And what would you do if you're part of the club? Oh my God, we have a source that can never bankrupt that stuff. The government will make us whole. Oh my God. Thank you, Sir Clinton. Guys, we're going to flood these schools with our friends, family, administrators, secondary administrator, this person, that person, this club, that club, this fee, this thing. We're going to feed these kids to death. Oh, and we're going to have an administration fee too that we're going to rape and pillage on until they catch us, and then we'll just pay a little fine and probably get out of that. But we're also well, hold on, no, we're not done. We're not done. You like that, guys? Yeah. No, we're not done. We're going to pay you outrageously high salaries. I remember doing a video not too awfully long ago, but it was definitely many months ago, if not longer, where I showed you and read you these college schools, what, I don't know if it was public school, I think it was college schools, what each individual at one school, just one school, this guy's getting $500,000 salary, this one also $500,000, this one $500,000, this one 400 something thousand. And the list was massive. And I was like, oh my God, second page. Until you got down to the jabronis. 60,000, 7,000, 70,000. Oh, okay. Those were the jabroni salaries, right? If I recall, it's been many months now. That number. Marriage rates at historic lows. He's posted this. Marriage rates have been steadily falling for the past 40 years under socialism, and declines correlate to tax increases. The rise in the marriage rate during the early 80s correlated to the Reagan tax cuts. Too many students cannot find jobs that pay enough to fund student loans. So Hillary wants to double minimum wages rather than repeal what she did to start this mess. She and her husband, you can say. Many of the youth cannot get married and start a family because they typically cannot afford to buy a home with huge student loan debt on their back. The marriage rate per 1,000 has dropped from 8.2 in just 2000, the year 2000, I guess, to 6.8 in 2012. Well, we're in 2019. How far worse has it gotten since then? Because shit's gotten worse. So what happens? Rentals are soaring as the next generation lost the ability to buy a home, all because of the Clintons. Right, so we can rent though. Yeah, we can rent, still not afforded anyways. So let's get this right, since the media will never question Hillary because she walks on water, and the mainstream media is just equally bought and paid for, or else they would ask the question, why? And then there's Bernie, who wants to raise taxes to subsidize even more worthless education. Even Trump is seriously wrong on his tax ideas. Nobody bothers to correlate anything, and academics will never tell the truth, for they benefit from this entire scam. Let's see, when did he post this article? October 18th, 2015. Okay, this is 2015 he posted this, but I'm reading it to you right now. Now, of course, that's interesting because posted October 18th, 2015. I guess because Trump was talking during his campaigning about the tax cuts. Well, Trump did come in and actually put him in. So when he talked about the Reagan tax cuts, things changed for the better. Trump did come in and do the same thing. So maybe Martin at the time didn't have time to see how it was going to go with Trump because it was 2015. Not that it matters too awfully much. This is, still hitting some home runs here. We are dangerously headed in the direction of a revolution because the media will not hold politicians to reality. Bankers are just lining their pockets, and academics are on high maintenance welfare, filling kids' heads with worthless dreams. Meanwhile, 60% of the youth cannot get a job in what they paid huge money for, and cannot, meaning their education, and cannot buy a home with a debt burden that is crazy, while 53% were unemployed in 2012. They are calling it the overeducated barista. We have a lost generation under socialism. Society is just not sustainable moving in this direction. Unfortunately, those in the know are lining their pockets, asking for more and more, so they will never change anything. This is what results in civil unrest, for there is no democratic process to change it. And the press surrendered their responsibility to protect society from corrupt government, since they too ask, where's my cut? That's exactly, absolutely right. Martin Armstrong is dead nuts accurate. The quote unquote, the most important part, there is no democratic process to change this. Yeah, there is. We can vote. We've been voting for how long? And it continues. You're voting for more of the same. Politician works for the banks, gets his cut. He or she works in Congress as long as they can, cutting deals, making themselves enormously wealthy, multi-millionaires by the time they leave Congress, which is a fact. They come in with almost nothing sometimes. Like I said, Bernie was a deadbeat until his 40s. Bernie Sanders was a deadbeat until his 40s, ended up getting to Congress. Now how much is he worth? He's got multiple houses. His wife's cutting some kind of deal with the school, milking millions out of that. Then wrong, that was fraudulent. We're going to investigate. No, we're going to Department of Justice under Obama. We'll pull that. We're not going to look at that. Nothing here. Unfortunately, there's not many politician jobs out there. So you and I can't join the club. And even if we could, is our moral compass pointing in the right direction? Well, I got to survive. I don't care. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. So what do? Throw a Hail Mary at this thing called cryptocurrencies and pray to God it works. What else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? And even that, we've seen, they're going to do futures contract. The banksters come right over. Oh, yeah, we'll get in there. Well, but you got to own these things. You can't print paper. Oh, that's okay. We've got Tether and Feather and Schmether and Leather. Stable coins. Do you have proof? No. Kind of. Maybe. I'll use a deep state FBI former guy that now runs an accounting firm to give you a very iffy statement like, well, on this date we saw something, but we couldn't see it all and we don't know previously. To say, yeah, we backed these tethers. $2.5 billion roughly in Tether. We don't need paper contracts. We will get the real thing. We will buy the real cryptos like you guys said if we want to manipulate. And we will. And we did. And we used Tether and other whatever, mainly Tether, to do this. Stablecoin. So we could buy at any price. It means nothing. It's free money. Doesn't matter if we're buying at 20,000 Bitcoin, dollar Bitcoin. Doesn't matter if we're buying at 10,000, 5,000, 3,000, 2,000, or 1,000. We're using free fake money to do it. And if the thing wants to rise, and you got those of you that have, those of you left remaining in the battle who haven't already thrown in the towel, you want the price to rise on you? Maybe we'll let it rise. They don't care. They just want control. But again, at some point, there's only so many of these crypto, and as more and more people want these things, even with them trying to hold all of it, if there's a small pool left and it's you and me that's really got it, let's say they have a huge amount because they've used Tether to acquire it, but they don't want to put it on the market because all of a sudden people are wanting it and they want to get in. They're going to try to flood the market to stave these people off. Well, go ahead. The price is ultimately going to go back up as now they're selling into the market. But it takes a lot of people. It takes a lot to do that. We're not there yet. Which is why, fine, you want to play these up and down games? Which, as I'm doing a video right now, today is the same day I did a video early this morning. It's 11 a.m. I said, guys, my indicator went off. It's saying the market's going to dump. I said it last night. It's back to the extreme level that it was the first time in February, 23rd-ish time frame. I'm just going to say my indicator is saying F you, everybody, so to speak. And I'm actually kind of floored right now. I'm changing subjects here. Bitcoin is now down. It was down a 0 point something percent. It's now down 2.5%. Bitcoin Cash 6% down the 140s. Digibyte, EOS, Litecoin, all of them down, 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 down. You see this nice red candle here on the 1 hour, 2 hour. So I'm happy, but I'm not happy. I'm happy because this indicator effing works. Apparently, it looks like it to me. But I'm not happy with the control that goes on behind the scenes. But if we really got to look deep into all this, everything we always talk about, you and I are interested in, and we took a trip back memory lane history, like thousands of years, hundreds of years, whatever it may be, I'm going to go ahead and venture and say nothing under the sun has ever changed. What's that? I'll say nothing under the sun has changed. It's always been there. Pedophiles, they've always been there. They've always been there. It's just coming out now. You're being made aware of it. Some people will deal with it. Okay, we cleaned it out, and then it'll start over again. Years, decades will go by, etc. Therefore, if there's always been manipulation in every market at some point, obviously there has to be some in this one market that we thought was manipulation proof, which we found out, stablecoin, Tether, if they faked it, they've created fake money. to buy all the coins while you and I had to dig in our effing bank account to go and buy it. And then watch the price dump on us for an entire year. And still counting as I'm, again, watching this thing. And it actually candled down to 1339.16. It's 39.51 at the moment, Bitcoin. So anyways, I'm still positive that this is the right solution. This is going to be a change in technology that we haven't seen. That is what government needs, accounting standards, everything. We need it. So yeah, we're going to have some problems, but ultimately, I think we will still stair step higher and higher as the years go by. And that's all we wanted to begin with anyways. So take care.